So today too.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, welcome back to the Slap Happy Hour. This is the Slap Happy Podcast. If you would like,
Why do we call it an hour? It's not an hour. It's like.
but it's the hour in which it happened.
Fair enough.
If you would like, check out our Twitch page. The link is in the description below. We go live at random times, so if you are interested in that, go ahead and check us out and watch us mess up at video games pretty badly. But speaking of video games, today, I just went to Retropalooza recently, in which it was a palooza about retro games. But I myself never really owned any retro game console.
Really?
Really. So it was surrounded by Nintendo and cartridges and things that I don't know about. And I was wondering if you guys were into retro games and I don't know, everybody there seems to praise the retro games, right? Which, don't get me wrong, it's gotta be a good thing. But I don't have the experience. I don't know what the difference is.
Wait, before we go any further, what was your first console?
My first console was a PlayStation 1.
I'm trying to think what mine was.
What was your first console?
I think it might have been the Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that big ass. It's like this wide.
It's like a VCR player.
Yeah, we're the same age, but I feel the oldest because mine was an NES.
Right. Well, the thing
My
is,
first
though,
thing was an NES.
we just never had the money for it. I
Right.
guess.
Well, it wasn't
Yeah.
technically mine, but I played an NES first. The
Right.
first thing was an NES, and then I went even further back and I bought an Atari for $13.
Wow.
So I've got cartridges out the ass.
Well, I mean, you've got the people who are like, okay, retro games were better, and then you've got the people who are saying, no, retro games are good, but they're not great.
You know
But
what?
I've known nobody that's like, man, retro games blow.
That's
I've
true.
known
I've
nobody that's
never.
said that so
Yeah.
far.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, retro games truly do blow because you gotta you try to put it in the cartridge.
You
inside
blow
the
it,
cartridge
and
thing.
if you look right where you blow, depending on which way you face it, if it's face down, it says "Do not blow into cartridges."
Yeah. Oh. And then you try it again. Hit the button. And it's like
Off on,
reset.
off on.
I bet the
reset.
difference is because parents were like, give to the kid, and the dad's like, you just blow into it, sonny, and it clears it out. And the kid's like, okay, dad.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't see why it doesn't work.
Yeah. it's-
Water and electricity. Yeah. Those things were cool though. No, I did have a 64.
I still have them.
Yeah, you do. But I do remember dropping. I remember dropping a giant ass TV on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cartridge wasn't in it. There was no game in there. But I dropped the TV because we were moving. So I
They're
slid
old
the
TVs,
TV
man.
Yeah, the big,
CRT TVs.
Yeah.
The big old
Mm.
tubes with the glass.
And luckily, I dropped like 2 feet. Not too much, but I mean for a TV it was a lot. And TVs are heavy, so.
Yeah.
The TV was broken.
No, I wasn't worried about the TV.
Mm.
I was worried about the 64 because
Right.
I did.
I mean,
love
that's a
that
little
thing.
plastic thing.
Little plastic
big
thing.
old
The
TV.
TV is huge. Big
The
old crash.
Yeah, the weight distribution on that thing though,
It's
if you ever set anything on top of it, it's impenetrable.
Yeah,
you can't crush it.
Nothing was happening. I don't even think it dented it or
I
scratched.
think I dropped my
anything.
PlayStation 3 once, and it died immediately.
I'm
pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, now I'm completely careful about everything that I own, like the PlayStation, the N64, the Super Nintendo. I hope to get soon. I'm gonna be cradling it it's gonna have its own. What are those baby things called?
Carriage?
No, the other thing. The other thing.
Crib?
It starts with a B.
Bibs.
Bonnet?
Bonnets.
It's like a place where you
Babies.
put them. Anyway, whatever. It's like that
Baby
little.
spots.
It's like a crib, but it's
Uh-huh.
for tiny babies, like newborns.
Bindles.
There's a word for it, but it's gonna have one of those.
NICUs?
No, it's not.
Those are just sounds.
Uh,
I don't know what that is.
No,
no, I think I
The-
know what you're talking about
The
now. but I
NICU
don't
is the
know.
thing that premature babies go in.
No, not an incubator. Not one of those.
It's not an incubator.
It's an incubator. Premature babies go into incubators. Everyone knows this. It's common knowledge.
He didn't know that.
It's a NICU.
Maybe that's just like the brand.
Well,
name.
that's the French word for it.
No, it's like the name.
It's like the French.
I don't
It's an
know.
incubator.
Whatever, I don't know.
Your Kubro
Never
goes
had a
in.
kid.
Your Cubro goes in an incubator.
Anyway.
See, okay, so now that's one of the points with this is that if you play a retro game, they throw you in Super Mario, the first one. You don't sit there and jump through a whole level of telling you how to jump, right?
Trial and error.
You start up and then you go,
Trial,
and that's all there is to it.
Trial and error.
But then when we got modern games now, like Warframe, where the tutorial isn't too, it's not too encompassing of the actual game,
It's like no
it drops off
tutorial.
and people don't play it.
Yeah, exactly.
So then,
Okay, so the reason
there
for
you go. What's
that.
the difference with that?
The difference is in Warframe, yeah, there might not be much of a tutorial, which is totally fine, but there's just so much stuff that goes along with it that it doesn't teach you that makes
I
it much
guess that's
literally
true.
complicated.
It's-
They were
And then
simpler.
you drag and drop into like Super Mario World or something.
Mhm.
You drag and drop into that. It tells you a story, like the basic background. there is no tutorial,
Mhm.
but the basic premise is run and jump and try
Okay,
to survive.
I see.
So it's
Right.
like,
I can see that.
that's why people say retro games were much better, because they gave you a simple premise, there was a simple idea behind it, and like that's where you went and that's what you did. Like they made it hard because it was supposed to be challenging for a simple game. Nowadays it's really easy, but it's also very complicated.
You also got to think though. I mean, just how much games have progressed. Yeah, how
Yeah.
complicated they are. Like I remember when the first Crash Bandicoot,
Yeah.
like changed from sideways running, like the world goes from right to left because you're always running from left to right,
And then you go.
and then Crash is now forward and backwards, like you're looking down the hallway.
Like actual
Right,
3D.
right.
Right. So like that was like real 3D. Like nowadays you spin cameras, you got literally a full 3D world.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's one thing. That's why I think like retro games were. I don't want to say better, because on one hand their story and their gameplay were superior on a certain level, and then on the other hand you have like the great looking games with deeper storylines than anything in the 16-bit or 32-bit era could give you.
Mhm.
And like it's just like a bunch of pros and cons behind each one of those. Like on the one hand, yes, they were simple. On the other hand, that's what makes it classic. On this side, they're complicated, but on the other hand, they got great stories. So
See, but I felt like a total outsider at this convention, right? Because I'm with everybody that's there. Even my girlfriend is talking about like all these old Legend of Zelda games that she played and stuff. And I'm like, oh, Zelda, that's the one with the green pointy hat, right?
who's the one that gets the sword?
Yeah, Zelda's got the sword. And then he goes and he saves Princess Peach.
Yeah.
I think in the castle,
Breaks
right?
all
Yeah, I
the
think.
pots and.
And then like all the vendors just stop what they're doing. Half the tables fall over, and they're just like,
Everything just gets silent except for the in the back.
Loser.
At a retro games
At a
convention.
retro-
yeah, right. But see,
That's when you know you've made it.
Well, you can
No, where you
That's
made
when
it
you know.
nowhere.
Yeah, that's when you know you've hit infamy right there.
He's the one with the pointy hat, right? No. Fortunately,
That's hilarious.
I've been corrected.
Have you had the chance to go back and play any retro games though?
Not like on an actual console, no, but I've emulated a couple.
Well,
and
that's
I was
I
like,
think that's acceptable.
eh.
Like
That's
one
it.
retro game that I think was vastly superior to most RPGs today, Pokemon, which you've never played.
I have never
It's over.
played. Okay, let me amend that. I've never played Pokemon on the Game Boy. I have played. There was a version which was kick ass. I don't remember what it was called. I think it was on the Nintendo 64.
It was-
You could actually battle Pokemon, like you choose.
Pokemon Stadium.
Stadium.
Yeah,
Yeah, Stadium.
that's
Oh,
what it
dude,
was.
I loved that one so much. And like, I did collect the cards. I've got a whole bunch of German cards because we collected them while we were in Germany. So that's
Wow.
cool too.
That's pretty cool.
We've got a huge collection of Pokemon cards. All like the first and second generation though.
Okay, that's
like
cool.
that's it.
Oh,
Nothing.
I can be
I don't
friends
even
with
know
you
if
now.
it's. I don't even know if it's the second generation. Honestly, like how many's in the first generation?
A 150.
150. Yeah, it's
just
only
the
the first
first
generation.
Yeah,
And we have the
it's-
poster,
well,
the original poster.
151 if you want
Right.
to get in there.
Yeah.
152 technically, because of Togepi.
Oh.
Although technically it's a first and second gen Pokemon, and then it evolves in like fifth gen. Whatever. That's this topic for
Just
another
getting-
day.
Whatever.
Confused.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I just have like the original 150. I do, but Pokemon Stadium, dude, that was a good.
Yeah.
That was a good.
What about
demo.
you so
I
far?
love
What
that
retro game have you played that you really like so far?
That I've really liked so far.
Dark Souls 1.
It's kind of retro.
retro right
Yeah, it's
now.
a bit retro.
there's a new generation.
I don't know. I haven't really played much. I played part of Legend of Zelda 2. Right? No, Adventures
Link's
of Link 2.
Awakening?
Adventures of Link on the Game Boy. I had that on my Game Boy. I did have a Game Boy, believe it or not. So yeah, I had that. I went back and I played Super Mario. I thought that was fun. Impossible kind of thing.
I've never made it past World 4.
Never good. No, I haven't really played too much,
No.
to be honest.
My favorite, all-time favorite retro game is Killer Instinct.
Mm.
Came on a black cartridge on the SNES. Best fighting game I've ever played in my life.
Killer Instinct.
I was super disappointed when they redid it on the Xbox One,
Yeah.
and it was like completely different from what I was used to.
Mm.
Like on the one hand, it was really really cool. Like I said, like cool gameplay,
Right.
very simple, easy to understand. And then you bring it to the today's generation, it looks really nice,
Mm.
but like at least the 16-bit era kind of gave you a little bit of room to imagine more, because
Oh,
you know
right,
it wasn't
I can see
it wasn't like perfect looking or anything like that.
Mhm.
And then you bring it to this generation, and it's like, well, it's not what I thought it was gonna look like, and there's no room for me to reimagine it because it's like rendered perfectly,
Mhm.
and you know people's artistic differences vary between imaginations. So I didn't like the way they looked, but that's just me.
Like when you read a book and in your mind you see the characters one way, and
Yeah.
you see them on the live screen and you're like, what the hell?
I-
No, dude, it's sad because I read Game of Thrones, right? Before I knew that there was a show or anything about it.
Right.
And then I was like, man, I bet this guy totally looks like Sean Bond or something. And then Game of Thrones I cast Sean Bond, I was like, no way, dude.
That's fun.
I heard
But
that.
that's like the only thing, cause like, do you guys read and just think of like random people, or do you read and like put actors in place?
I read and think of random people. I piece together what the author gives me and kind of just like mold my own view of what they look like.
Mhm.
But I read that everyone on Game of Thrones is way uglier than they look in the TV show. Like,
Yeah,
like the
definitely.
Peter Dinklage character.
Oh my gosh,
doesn't
yeah,
have
he's
a
supposed to have
nose,
like, and then
no
he's got like a
nose,
giant
and a
eye
giant
and a scar,
scar. Like,
and then he's supposed to be
Like,
all
uh,
super disproportionate,
yeah,
like, you
like-
know.
What is it, Uma in The
Yeah.
Witcher? Is it Uma? The little,
yeah, like
the
the
little.
little dwarf dude. That looks more like what he's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Peter Dinklage.
without the nose though,
Mhm.
right? No nose.
Mhm.
Because he's supposed to not have a nose, right?
I don't know.
Like his
I don't
nose
remember.
got cut off. in
Yeah,
war or
something like that. Yeah. I've never watched or read books, but still, I've read that
Yeah.
they're supposed to be way uglier than they actually
Mhm.
are.
And then like the throne itself looks like an actual chair, but the way he originally pictured it, it was supposed to be like this massive tower, and it was like lopsided and stuff. and
So
just,
it was like craggly. And
yeah, but like millions of swords, and you have to climb up steps to get up to the top, kind of thing. Well, not millions, you know, but like thousands.
thousands of swords.
And like all nasty, but in the show they made it look like all cool and badass.
and all fanned out and like
Mhm.
actual, like someone put the time and effort into actually making
Yeah, but
it
it's supposed to
good.
look like it was forged by people that don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard about.
I don't know,
something
it's just
like
it's
that,
kind of cool. But I mean, if he's working on the show, he's got to have his hand in there enough to be like, okay, you know.
so. Yeah, you gotta put your
gotta
hand
be
in the
good.
pot just enough to
Mhm.
you know keep it on track.
Mm-hmm.
You also gotta
In
think
the same
though.
like,
I mean,
universe, I guess maybe.
does it? If you're thinking about like, as you're writing a book like that,
Mm-hmm.
do you think kind of making them kind of ugly, but not, just not
Well, I mean, you
as
gotta make
good
it-
looking
yeah.
as they are in real life?
I think
Um,
you gotta draw a line somewhere as far
would
as
it-
the way they look.
Would it kind of produce more of an imagination? Because you're
I mean, the light
'cause-
flickers.
I know. I don't know
been
why.
noticing that. The bulb's gonna like blow up any minute now. I just looked directly into it and I can't see. I got a black spot.
It was weird. It did flicker.
It did. I noticed that last one we shot.
Yeah, because I mean, if you think like, how many books do you have like a good-looking character and a good-looking?
99% of them. Probably.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you make the reader think like, okay, think about a guy with no nose, with one bigger eye than the other. Like it makes you think more about it,
Right,
right?
yeah,
You
yeah,
kind of get more
that's
into
true.
it. You're more invested into the character.
Yeah, because you
And
have
then
to
he'll
like,
kill it in record.
and then it'll rip out their soul. But like,
No, it's
I
gonna rip
think
up the soul of the fan base. Kills everybody.
yeah, like, cause I guess I can see where you're coming from. Cause with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, like
Mm.
completely different from what like the comics and like the
Is it-
imagination.
that's a new Spider-Man, dude?
No, that's the one from 2000,
Okay,
2001
yeah,
or
yeah,
so. Sam Raimi's, and then the new one is the Amazing Spider-Man. Anyway,
yeah. Right.
like it's different from what most fans would have imagined them to be. The one that just came out a few years ago was
Mhm.
more true to the original comic material.
Because he's kind of like sarcastic and.
Well, there's not only that, but like as far as the storyline goes, like
Okay.
Gwen Stacy was his first love and everything, so
Oh,
that
okay.
was the thing, and like Mary Jane didn't come on until way later. But
Mm.
still, either way, it's all up to, like you said.
And there's also so many different Spider-Mans. Like
That's true.
you could really.
Dude, Spider-Gwen is pretty badass. I like that.
Yeah, the alternate Spider-Man.
It's cool. Yeah, there's
Alternate
like
universe
so many
Spider-Man.
different
Because
universes.
where Peter Parker dies and Gwen Stacy's the one that.
Mm-hmm.
See,
She's got like a white spider costume.
That's
and
what I'm
a-
saying. Like
And it's,
there's
like,
just
red,
So
like red-
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool because they use like negative space and stuff. That's
Yeah.
kind of a cool thing that
Yeah.
you can do with comics that you can't do, or animation, I guess.
Yeah,
You can do
animation
with,
in
like,
general.
real cinematography.
It's getting a lot harder to do stuff like that, but. It all chalk it up to artistic differences.
And
that's exact-
artistic because I have a different opinion.
And
So
that's exactly why
you
retro
can-
games are better than new games.
Spider-Man.
Because Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
And Game of Thrones and Peter Dinklage.
See, I can't read. I can't nowadays. Like like the main Hunger Games. I read those before.
I read all those too.
Before I knew they were
I've
gonna
never
come
even
to
seen a
movies.
physical version of the book.
What?
I've probably walked past
You know what? I haven't actually.
it. Not gonna-
Not gonna.
And the Maze Runner series.
I never read those.
I did know. I was told to read the Maze Runner series in high school, and I did read the first one. And I watched the movie. I read part of the first one. And I watched the movie, and I was like, wow, they changed a lot of things. Some I didn't get why they changed.
Right.
But I didn't read the second one until just like 2 weeks ago, or last week, after the movie came out.
Do you read?
I read all the time. You asked me this before, and
I
your
know.
reaction was that before too.
I don't know. I figured I don't
You
know
know-
what I picture you doing in your day, but I don't see
Right.
reading.
I
don't
read
know.
Twilight.
I did read
before
all
it
of
came
Twilight.
out.
My friend
Yeah,
Deanna
see-
convinced me to watch or read all of them back in middle school.
I'm not gonna lie, I like the
I did.
Twilight books.
Yeah, I got
Except
invested
for
in
New
them.
Moon. I skipped 90% of New Moon.
Why?
I read like the first chapter, and I was like, wow, she's crying, she's crying, she's crying, she's crying.
She's crying.
She's crying. Oh, the end of the book. I could not. I literally read like the first 3 chapters, and I was like, I cannot stand this.
Done.
New Moon. Wait, New Moon was
The second
second one. Okay,
Where-
yeah, you are right about that.
Where
I thought there was a lot of drama, but I was into the girl that wanted me to read them, so I was determined to get to the end.
That's funny, dude.
Yeah,
That's why I started reading.
Hey!
Someone-
I bet that's why like 90%
I
of
read
all
it.
guys out there read.
I read
Twilight.
it because I liked Twilight, like
Did
the original book, the first one. I was like, oh, I might as well because everyone else is reading it. And I started reading it, and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And then same thing, New Moon. I read the entire thing, but I had to like chug my way through it.
Mm.
And then Eclipse came out,
I
and
think
I
the
was like,
last
this is
book was the
alright.
worst.
And then Breaking Dawn.
Breaking Dawn. Yeah.
Breaking Dawn.
Breaking Dawn
I
was
thought that was the worst.
okay.
The
I was like,
book-
why is he into a baby?
I
don't get it.
It's imprinting.
It's
I understood the concept, but it is kind of
It was
weird.
weird.
Well, I mean, they basically said that like the person would be whatever they wanted them to be or needed them to be, like a
Mhm.
protector, older brother, or like anything more.
Yeah.
Depending on what the age they are when they imprint, or like
And-
what it evolves into later.
But on the
you
note of
And
baby
he-
love, guys, we are out of time.
oh,
Yeah.
baby love.
I'm sorry. So if you enjoyed the podcast, please like, comment in the description on what you want us to talk about. We really have no idea what the hell to talk about when we get up here. Check us out on Twitch. If we're live, we're live. If we're not, we don't have a schedule. Check this guy out on Twitch at twitch.com/GreatScottMcFly. And thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Bye.